46-46.
First heat of the 500 jumping into the pool. Lane 2 will be Declan Long, sophomore from BC High, was 15th at the South Sectional. Caden Gia of Wellesley is in 3, 13th at that same South Sectional meet. Lachlan Hartshorn of BC High is in 4. Alan Husenevic of Winchester is in 5. Benjamin Laturel of Minnechaug in 6. The freshman was on the medley relay team that finished 3rd. Logan Zenda of Westfield is in 7, and Eric Lee, 13th of the North Sectional, is in 8. He's a sophomore at Lexington High.
Meet qualifying time 5:13:27. Meet and state record held by Eric Vent, 4:24:35. We were talking earlier, I was talking with Scott earlier a little bit about, in Massachusetts, the competitiveness of these swimmers versus the field across the country. And Eric Vent is one of those rare swimmers, went on to USC and also went on to swim in the Olympics. So that's why that record has stood for so long.
Heading back 24 years now for Vent out of BC High. Good day for the Eagles. And there are 2 of them in this race. They are near the top of the team competition. Last we knew they were in front, and I can't imagine that's changed because we've had just a few events added on. Do not believe they have a diver. They do not. So they won't get any points out of the diving, but still a chance for BC High to add points with a fast swim because there's 3 heats. Now, one thing to note, in heats 2 and 3, there are 10 swimmers. They are using all 10 lanes. So it will be tough to score out of this first heat.
Yeah, good observation there, Tom. I was just going to point that out. Right now, though, they're at the 200 mark, 154.64, 154.88. That's Laturel first, Husinovic second. They are on pace for a sub-5 minute. We'll have a better feel for that at the 300, however. Start to see what kind of splits they're doing. 30.21. So again, Laturel, low 30s. If he can keep up with those 30 points, he will definitely be under 5. Husinovic trying to keep pace here. Come up on the 300. Husinovic 30.64, 255.49. So 101 lows. That would be back in a 257, 258 if he keeps up these splits. Doesn't want to fall much off that 30.5 if he wants to get under 5 minutes. Again, that is Laturel, the freshman out of Minnechaug. So 30.65 there, following a 30.64. Again, right now on that 457, 458 pace, looking at a close to a 15-second drop. If he can keep it up, being very consistent with his swim. Husinovic still in second. Zenda of Westfield third. That was a 30.82 for Laturel. He's fallen down to round 102. Again, that's still projecting out to be under a 5. Should see that last 25 back to the low 30, maybe 25 high. Although he's starting to kick it in here. I think we'll be back to the mid 30s. Gets the bell.
Turns at 4:27.44.
30.48, yeah, so he's on pace for 5:27. If he can bring this back home in that 30 point. Okay. Yeah, he's up tempoing it. He's gonna do it.
And he could score some points for Minnechaug. They are second in the team race as Latorelle goes 4:57.94.
Great swim, 15-second drop. Really well swum, nicely split. So 4:57.94. As you said, it's going to be tough to score out of this first heat with 10 swimmers in each of the next two events, but
a 15-second drop is the kind of thing that can help
that can help you. Again, that would move him up to about 9th place. Again, this is the type of event where you can move up a lot, but if you're not on it, you can fall back just as easily.
Yeah, there's going to be plenty of people who are on it if you are not. Heat 2 features Aiden Gouldston of Westford Academy. The freshman was 11th at the North Sectional. Matthew Church of St. John's Prep is in 2. He was 11th here last year. Owen Walpole of Westford Academy is in 3. His senior teammate Oliver York in 4. Liam Jordan in 5. Brian Story, a freshman from Haverhill, in 6. Ringo Corona, senior from West Springfield, in 7. Dana Landau, freshman from Needham, in 8. He was 12th at the South Sectional. 9th at the South Sectional was Brian Parkinson, a Bishop Fenwick freshman. And Alexander Sproul of Concord Carlisle is in 10. Updated team scores. BC High in the lead with 125 points. Minnechaug second with 85. Westford Academy third, 84. Needham 81. Xaverian 76. Lincoln Sudbury 73.
And Minnechaug with 2 athletes in that final heat. So this could be a big event for Minnechaug.
Yeah, BC High does not have a swimmer in the final 2 heats. They are in the third of 4 heats for the 200-yard freestyle relay, while Minnechaug is in the final heat, as is Westford Academy and Needham. So this picture could get a little tighter over the next couple of events.
And right now it is lane number 5, Liam Jordan of Wellesley. Let's see where he is at the 200. Got to readjust our lanes as we have 10 athletes.
Yeah, so luckily lane 4 is still lane 4, lane 5 is still lane 5. It's just the visual of someone being in lane 1.
So Oliver York out in a 150.83. Behind him is Church from Prep at 152.13. So 155 took us to a 457. We'll see what a 150 can get us. 29.18. So those are 58 middles.
York turned at 220.01, and that was the halfway point.
Love an idea. We can project out a little bit here at the 300. All right, 29.47, 249.48. So again, going 59s on the hundreds, that would put him at a 447 middle if he can keep up this pace.
Would be another 15-second drop.
Yes, it would.
$29.46.
Yeah, so right on it, 318.94. That is York, and again, Westford, Minnechaug, and Needham all battling for second right now.
Yeah, the second place battle is wide open. There are 6 teams within 20 points of each other.
We have 100 yards to go. 29.86, so a little bit slower there, but again, still on pace to be under 450. Should be back in sub-minute. Yeah, 448, 447. Oliver York dominating this field. Matthew Church of Prep about 8 yards behind. 29.73, 4:18.
So looking at something in the 448 low range, maybe in the 447s.
Yep, if he can get back into 29.0, he'll be in the 447s, 447.5. Let's dig deep here. Let's get him home. Oliver York from Westford. Good reach, 447.86. He is happy with that swim there. And Matthew Church, 453. Brian Story third, 5 minutes 54.
Another 15-second drop as York goes 447.86.
Yeah, he's going to put some pressure on this field.
10 lanes in heat number 3. Carlo Cairo, senior from Brookline, is in lane 1. Junior from Xaverian, Aiden Wolcott, is in 2. He was 10th last year, 3rd in the Class S sectional. Thomas Epic, a junior from Lincoln Sudbury, is in 3, 9th last year, 3rd in the North sectional. Lane 4, a sophomore from Lowell, Jack Ventry, 7th last year. Lane 5, Alex Parent, the freshman from Minnechaug, was 2nd in the 200 free earlier in the meet. William Mulgrew, the Class S section, the South section champion from Xaverian, is in lane 6. He's a sophomore at Xaverian and was 3rd in the 200 free earlier today. Zach Parent, the winner of the Central West section from Minnechaug, is in lane 7. He was 6th in the 200 free. Teddy Bakma, senior from St. John's Prep, 10th in the 200 free in 8. Ryan McFadden, a senior from Beverly, in 9. And William Molson, junior from Andover, in 10. He was 6th in the North sectional.
And Parent has a 6-second advantage based on seed time over this field.
Parent coming into the meet at a 436.81 seed. Number to think about with him, All-American consideration is at 433.05. So he would have to take almost 4 seconds off his time, but we've seen a lot of people drop a lot of time in the first 2 heats.
Yeah, and he's got to not just watch out for Mulgrew next to him, but Teddy Batmaka out in lane 8 for Prep.
Parent at 118.71, 27.25 on that 50.
Yeah, so far through the first 6 legs, really impressive by Alexander Parent. Really great turnover rate with his stroke. We'll see what he settles into in terms of his splits. It's 27.25. All right, 27.64, 146.35 at the 200. Again, 27.5s would be 55s. See if he can keep them under 28. We can project out at the 300. But right now, it is the freshman, Alexander Parent, 27.22 for that 50. William Mulgrew firmly in 2nd, and we've got a competitive race for 3rd between Zach Parent and Teddy Bakmaka. We are coming up on the 300.
Alexander Parent, 241.18.
241.18, 27.61. So a 55 and a 56 would be 432.
And that would get him his All-American consideration. And we've been talking so much about seniors. We've had the final heat of the 100 freestyle, final heat of the 50 freestyle, full of seniors. And here we have a freshman leading the way.
Yeah, it is great to see. And again, if someone's going to challenge Eric Vent, a freshman going 432, that's a possibility. Again, 27.68 on that split. He looks like he's starting to ramp up his tempo. This is an impressive swim. 27.56, so still going 55s. Again, that's going to project out to a 4:31 if he can come back in a 55.
Really impressive swim here from Alexander Parent, Minnechaug freshman.
And we are starting to see right now Zach Parent make a move on Mulgrew.
Minnechaug could really use those points.
27.46, 4:03.88. Again, 4:31, 4:32 is what we're looking at. Wow, he is really up-tempoing it.
4:33.05, the All-American consideration time. Alexander Parent to the wall, 4:30.50.
What a swim, and what a race for second. Mulgrew, 4:35.63, just touching out Zach Parent at 4:35.81. Again, Zach Parent a 12-second drop for third. Mulgrew a 7-second drop for second, and a 6-second drop for Alexander Parent, with again an All-American consideration time, 4 minutes 30 seconds, .50. He brings that home in a 26.62.
And how about Zachary Parent, 26.20.
Yeah, great swim. He nearly reeled Mulgrew in. If he had another 2 yards in the pool, he would have.
A great swim as Alexander Parent, freshman from Minnechaug, wins the 500-yard freestyle.
So again, that's a big event for Minnechaug. First and third, that would pick up 37 points.
Yeah.
So that would give them 122. They'd be just 3 points behind BC High.
Yeah, likely BCI did not score in this event.
In 5th place, from Longmeadow, Chris Karan. In 4th place, from East Longmeadow, Thomas Fitzgerald. In 3rd place, from Duxbury, Matthew Cristofaro. In 2nd place, from East Hampton, Tyler Hetzu. And in 1st place with a final score of 499.55 points, a senior from Hanover, Cameron Pope.
So if you weren't able to check out the diving on the other stream, there are your top 8 out of 9. There were 9 entered, and the top 8 are lined up, including the winner, a senior from Hanover, Cameron Pope.
Congratulations, thank you guys.
All right, Tom, we get ready for our longest event of the program. Boys 500-yard freestyle, meet qualifying time 5:22.66, meet record 4:28.71 set by Eric Nilsson in 2005. Our state record goes all the way back to 1999, 4:24.35 by Eric Vent.
This will be the first of 3 heats. Lane 1, or lane 2 I should say, features John Appleton, a freshman from Cohasset, who was 21st at the South Sectional. From Ludlow, Adam Riley is in 3. Jaden Anthony was 20th at the North Sectional. He's a freshman from Mystic Valley. Ben Lynch of Pembroke is in 4. And 3 sophomores, Matthias Johansson in 6 from Wayland. His teammate Peter Morris is in 7. And James Hine of Holliston in 8. Line up for the first of 3 heats.
And yesterday in the girls 500, we saw pretty consistently drops between 5 and 8 seconds across every heat, including the final heat. It's remarkable swimming in this event yesterday. And right now it is Peter Morris in lane 7, 56.90. Ben Lynch just behind him at 56.95. We'll start having an idea of what type of pace they'll settle into as we hit the 200.
And with the diving events in and the 100 free in, we can get a better look at the team picture, but it's no surprise at the top. Through 7 events, Weston with 214 points. Mystic Valley is in 2nd at 92, Cohasset 3rd with 89, Marblehead 4th with 76, Wayland in 5th with 75, Duxbury 6th with 67 points, Westwood 7th with 56, Longmeadow 8th with 42, Amherst-Pelham is in 9th with 45 points, and Holliston is in 10th. They have 42, Longmeadow has 50. So no surprise at the top. Weston, and then still pretty close for second place on down.
Really close, and I'll come back to that in a second. Right now at the 200 is Ben Lynch of Pembroke, 159.35. Just behind him, Peter Morris of Wayland, 159.78. Both of those swimmers split 31 fives. So we'll see. Probably, I'm going to guess they're going to be up around a 32 low for this one.
This is the halfway mark.
Still on the 31, well, 31.6, 31.9 for Lynch and Johansson. Morris, 31.7. So they are looking at 103s, 104s per 100. Can start to make some projections as they hit this wall at the 300. 31.25, so Lynch, that was his fastest 50 since the Open, 3:02.28. Again, if he goes 103s, he'd come in at a 5:08, which would be an 8-second drop. Again, it is Peter Morris in Wayland, who is hanging on at Lynch's feet, and 31.15.
Now obviously it's a long race. You just got to hang around.
Yeah, that's what we saw a bit yesterday. Again, you know, sometimes like we saw earlier in the 200, in the case of like Nelson versus who was the boy who came in 3rd?
See, we only got 7 events to go through. So
yeah.
Nelson and
Acuna-Rosa.
Yeah.
So 4:48 for Lynch. Again, he is on that pace for certainly 5:07, 5:08. But anyways, you know, a race where you're building into it, seeing your split times get faster versus a race where your split times are really consistent throughout. And Acuna-Rosa, you know, he put the pedal to the metal early on and tried to hold on, and the 2 swimmers who just touched him out, a little bit more consistent in their splits. Again, Lynch 31.33, 4:36.
He's up by 2.5 seconds entering the final 50.
He is back in a 31. He'll be at a 5:07. Usually this last 50 is a little bit faster than what you're previously doing. We're seeing that by Morris in lane number 7, who's gaining a little bit of ground here. 5:06.79 for Ben Lynch. Peter Morris, 5:08.31. And yeah, you can see that 29.63 for Morris at the end. Lynch a little bit faster, 30.66. He'd been holding 31 lows. And in third, that was Matthias Johansson of Wayland. So Wayland, great swims there, 5:08, 5:12, and our heat winner, Ben Lynch, 5:06.
Took almost 10 seconds off his seed time. Peter Morris in second took off more than 10 seconds. So great performances in that first heat. Heat 2 starting with Sam Beer of Ashland in lane 2. He was 19th last year and at the South Sectional last week. Freshman from Marblehead, Cale Nelson, is in 3. Lane 4 is a junior from Nauset, Will Crowell, 10th at the South Sectional. Freshman from Longmeadow, Ethan Halpern, is in 5. He was 4th at the Central West Sectional. Peter Coleman is in lane 6. Duxbury Jr. was 9th here last year. Lane 7 is Callum McDonald, 4th last year, 8th in the individual medley earlier today for the senior from Amherst-Pelham. Sophomores in 8 and 9, Michael Webb is in 8 from Holliston, and Spencer Dobson of Weston rounds out the field.
And our top seed, Halpern, is in at a 5:01.75. Coleman behind him, 5:04.06. They've got a 8 and 5 second advantage over this field, but right now the field is really tight. It is Crowell at 55.61, Coleman 55.96. They'll have to start holding 30 points if they want to be under 5 minutes.
And that's a realistic goal for these guys, especially in the center of the pool. We saw almost 10-second drops from a couple of the swimmers in the previous heat.
Yeah, and that was Halpern at 30.12, Crowell 30.17.
Halpern unlucky to miss the third heat. Ben Lyons got him by 14/100ths. So Halpern coming in with the 9th fastest seed time, and he has a chance to move up based on his performance here in the second heat.
And it is Callum McDonald. He posted the fastest split for that last 50, 30.07, touching at the 200, 1:55.87. And if he keeps putting up 30.0s, he'd be at a 1:56 low. Looks like Halpern got a look though, and he brought his split time down to 30.07. McDonald 30.78, so falling off a little bit. But it is a 4-person race, or 3 across and 1 just a little behind. Ethan Halpern, Peter Coleman, and Caleb McDonald in lanes 5, 6, and 7, and
Crowell from Nauset is the swimmer in 4.
And again, we're seeing some very consistent swimming. 30.13 for Halpern, 30.22 for Coleman, 30.27 for McDonald. Again, they are all on pace to beat that 5-minute mark. 3:56, 3:57, right? I mean, 4:56, 4:57 is what it's projecting out to. Touch slower there, 30.21 for McDonald, 30.31 for Coleman, Halpern 30.58. We'll see who's got the gas in the tank as we come into this final 100. There's McDonald who's making a move here. Three-person race, less than a half a second separating them all.
McDonald with the lead by 0.3 of a second heading into the final 100.
Yeah, 3:57.58, 3:57.87 for Halpern, 3:58.04. So again, less than half a second. The 30.45 to 30.69 were those 50 splits.
Halpern is in 5, Coleman in 6, McDonald in 7.
They get the bell, 30.3, 30.53, 30.54.
McDonald leads by about a quarter of a second. Coleman making a move, final turn. They are 3 wide. Halpern, Coleman, McDonald, and Ethan Halpern accelerating and taking the win, 4:56.53 for the Longmeadow freshman.
He likes that, fist raise, what a swim. We're seeing a lot of happiness out of lane 7 as well. Again, 4:56.53 for Halpern, 4:56.80 for Coleman, 4:58.25 for McDonald. 28.13 for Halpern coming back on that last 50. Again, he had been holding 30.3s, so 2-second drop on that last 50. That's something that we saw out of Bobby Fink in the 200 in the Tokyo Olympics in the 800 and 1500 meter freestyles. Blistering final 50 to win the gold medal. There we have Halpern blistering final 50 to capture the second heat.
And how about McDonald? His seed time was 5:11, and he comes home in 4:58 today.
Wow. That's probably our biggest drop so far. Incredible swimming we've seen in this 500 freestyle.
And now we have the final heat. Lane 2 is Aiden Huang of Wayland. Billy Burke of Wayland is in 3. The senior was 7th last year and 6th in the 200 free earlier. Aiden Acuna-Rosa in 4. The senior from Mystic Valley, 3rd last year, 3rd in the 200 free. From Longmeadow, a senior, Evan Lyons, is in lane 5. 2nd in the Central and West sectional, 2nd in the individual medley today. Lucas Haynes of Holliston is in 6. 8th last year, 4th at the South sectional. From Seekonk, Nicholas Cavic. He was 5th in the 200 free. Josh Adler, a sophomore from Triton, is in 8th, 4th in the 200 free. And Ben Lyons of Longmeadow, 15th last year, 3rd in the Central West sectional.
And Evan Lyons is our top seed, 4:43.30. Acuna-Rosa in at 3rd, 4:49.83. They're leading the field right now. Lyons out in 51.95. Acuna-Rosa 52.39 at the 100. And our second seed is Lucas Haynes of Holliston in at 4:59.02. But right now it is a 2-person race. We saw Acuna-Rosa with an aggressive out on the 200 to just get touched out for 3rd. Matching each other stroke for stroke. Lyons 1:48.71 at the 200. Acuna-Rosa 1:49.37. 28.55 for Lyons, 28.64 for Acuna-Rosa. If Acuna-Rosa can hold on, they'll be looking at each other as they come down for the final 25.
Yeah, you see how they're turning to breathe right now. And they're turning in towards each other as they have separated themselves from the rest of the pack.
We have a tight race for 3rd down in lane 6 and 7 though. Lucas Haynes and Nicholas Cavic. But it is a 2-person race. They continue to distance themselves from the field. Here we are at the 300. And it is Lyons 4:27.28. Acuna-Rosa 2:48.20. Acuna-Rosa outsplit him though, 29.55, 29.76. Cavic 29.28, the fastest split of the field.
So Lyons up by about a second. but Acuna-Rosa reeling him in ever so slightly.
29.16 for Lyons, 30.07 for Acuna-Rosa. So Acuna-Rosa falling off a little bit. Haynes and Cavic, though, they're both 29 lows. So right now it is Lyons, Acuna-Rosa falling off. The question is he going to be able to hold off our swimmers in lanes 6 and 7, Haynes and Cavic? Got 100 yards to go. 3:45.78 for Lyons.
Cavic and Haynes both with faster splits.
Acuna-Rosa back above 30.
Evan Lyons out in front. Senior from Longmeadow looking to go out on top of the championship here in the 500 free.
He gets the bell. Got 50 yards to go. And Lyons was 29.83 there. We had a 28.53 for Cavic. Cavic starting to make a move now. Acuna-Rosa, he brought his pace down to 29.37. Acuna-Rosa making a move.
He is coming on strong. Lyons in 5, holds on for the win. Acuna-Rosa second, Cavic third, 4:44.12, and Acuna-Rosa breaks 4:45.
Yeah, 4:44.94, 27.24 for Acuna-Rosa on his last 50. That was the fastest last 50 in the field. Cavic, 28.01, was next to come in third at 4:46.03, and Haynes, 4:46.77. So again, they were big drops. Every swimmer in this heat under 5 minutes. And we go to the deck to wait for our official results. And as we get ready for the 500 freestyle, Colin, we heard Pete Foley announce that they're down to the final 3 dives in diving. And of those top 5 teams, 4 of them each have 1 diver. Concord, Newton South, Westford, and Lincoln Sudbury. Franklin is the only team in the top 5 without a diving entrant.
And just to note, those rankings for the teams I just read did not include the diving scores. Those will be incorporated shortly when diving ends. Event 8 underway currently in Cambridge, Massachusetts. The 500-yard freestyle. Colby Graff, the sophomore from Lincoln Sudbury, at the top of your screen in lane 4. Chloe Reynolds, the junior from Concord Carlisle, in lane 5. Olivia Emanuel, the senior from Westford Academy, in lane 6.
Our meet qualifying time is a 5:43.87, and our meet record 4:52.08, set in 1999 by Samantha Arsenault. The state record 4:50.76, set by Ashley Loomis in 2018. Those are some fast swims there. Meanwhile, we approach the 100-yard mark, and it is Chloe Reynolds out in a 102.39.
Graff and Emanuel. Graff from LS, Emanuel from Westford Academy. About dead even right behind Reynolds.
And again, we'll soon start to see what kind of pace they begin to settle into here. It's just a second that separates all 3 of these swimmers, so I expect this to be a pretty tight race.
Graf closing the gap, and so does Emmanuel as well. And we talked about, Don, you know, the strategies, some of the different tactics we've seen over the course of the last 2 weekends with this event in particular. We've seen, even earlier this morning, swimmers who are way out leading the pack suddenly just find the rest of the pack coming up and taking first, second, and third from them. We've seen some great moves at some very important times in this marathon of an event. I wonder what we're going to see tonight, as we've seen Reynolds, who was leading, now lose it to Graf. But again, there's plenty of time left for either three of these swimmers to make a move, especially down in the later stretches.
Yeah, so at the 200, 211.10 for Graf. You know, typically you'll see a swimmer settle into a pace and just stick on that, you know, half second, maybe here or there, but by and large, really consistent. That's typically what you see. Occasionally you'll see a swimmer building into that race. So starting out a little bit behind the field and then each 50 getting progressively faster, especially once you hit that halfway mark. So we'll see what we have here. The other thing I've noticed recently as I look at some of the results coming out of the college meets is, you know, big last 50s, and that was something we saw in the last Olympics with Bobby Fink capturing the 800-meter freestyle and 1,500-meter freestyle, where he was well behind the field with 100 meters to go and putting together blistering final 50. You know, it's interesting seeing that. And I was looking at the ACC results the other day, and again, a lot of very consistent swims, and then all of a sudden a last 50 that's a second and a half faster. So pushing the pain, but leaving something in the tank.
See the different types of strategies these swimmers use as Colby Graf out to that lead for Lincoln Sudbury. She's maintained it.
Yeah, that was a 35.27. That was her slowest split, but we see in lane 6 now, 34.52 down there by Emmanuel from Westford.
So potentially that strategy we're kind of just referring to, Emmanuel hanging back a little bit for the majority of this race so far, and now starting to make a move, already made one on Reynolds, and now is eyeing down Graf.
Yeah, we'll take a look at their splits and see what separates them at the 100, just 4 lengths to go. So yeah, 34.93 for Graf and 34.32 for Emmanuel. So there's enough time for her to reel Graf in.
She's closing in on Graf.
And they are all pretty close to they're going to right on pace for their seed times, that 5:40, 5:41 mark.
Reynolds came into this heat with the best seed time of 5:47.8.
Again, if that best time was set at sectional, sometimes it's a tough double here. Some of these swimmers could be, you know, made that time earlier. All right, again, Emmanuel, another half second closer.
And they have gotten the bell at this point.
34.32 to 34.89. And it is going to be a sprint to the finish. Can Graf hold on? She had led most of this race. And what a kick by Emmanuel here.
She gets it.
Wow.
5:3.28 for Olivia Emmanuel. A sprint to the finish, but enough in the tank, just like Don said.
Just like Bobby Fink, 31.82 there. And blowing away her regular split times of 34 low. 2 seconds faster there. Great swim, best time.
Graf coming in second with a 5:38.62, also beating her seed time. Reynolds, the junior from Concord Carlisle, finishes in third with a 5:44.06. Brings up heat 2 of 3 in the 500-yard freestyle, event number 8 of 12 here from Cambridge, Massachusetts. In lane 3, Nola Basari, the freshman from West Springfield. Carly Atwood swims in lane 4, the sophomore from Beverly. Sydney Bourgeois, the junior from Franklin, swims in lane 5. Ava Bullock, the sophomore from Barnstable, comes in with the second best seed time of 5:33.96. Bourgeois from Franklin, the best seed time of 5:33.91. Ashley DeRoche, the junior from Franklin, swims in lane 7, and Alice Dutchkova, the junior from Shrewsbury, at the bottom of our screen in lane number 8.
All right, and we see Atwood really taking off here. Borsari not far behind, but when you've got a swimmer going out that fast, sometimes plays a little bit of mind games with you to stick to your race plan. So 58.98, that is a nice out for the first 100. Again, we'll see what kind of pace she settles into. Borsari not letting her get away though. Again, it is Atwood in lane 4, Borsari in lane 3. Bourgeois, Bullock, DeRoches, and Gajichkova in the field, rounding it out.
Atwood from Beverly leading the pack. Borsari from West Springfield just behind her.
32.11 on that 50, second faster than Borsari.
Close race for third right now. Gajichkova, DeRoches, and in lane number 5.
One of the things we saw this morning was, especially in the last heat, every swimmer in that heat dropped, except for the winner, dropped their seed time by 8 seconds.
Bourgeois in the mix for third as well, junior from Franklin.
Atwood 2:03.71 at the 200, 32.6 for the 50. My guess is she settles into probably 32 high, 33 lows, and that would be a really great swim if she can keep those pace together. $33.14.
So it is Carly Atwood with a sizable gap at the halfway point.
Again, Borsari 34.05, so she's hanging in there. She's set to smash her seed time too. It's just that Atwood is just laying down the hammer here on this field. 33.03. 309.88, so about a 310. Splitting, we'll call it 107. It's faster than that, but you know, that'd be a last 200 of 214. That'd be a 523. So that'd be a 10-second drop. She can keep this together.
We'll keep an eye on the time for Atwood.
Again, 33.52. So yeah, again, that's a 107 for 100. 34.15. So Borsari's still on a great pace. And 34.08 down in lane 7. So DeRocha is starting to pick up her pace here. But it is Atwood with a 10-yard lead on the field.
Borsari in second with some length behind her for third.
33.48. So again, that 107 brings her in at a 4:23.88. So that would be a 10-second drop, 12-second drop actually. She's in at a 5:35.87. And it looks like she's even stepping up the tempo here. So let's see if she can't bring this down into the 33 low as she gets the bell. 33.57, so again, another 33 middle. Looking for a 5:23 high, 5:24 low. And as our deck announcer said, that'll put some pressure on some of those outside lanes in the final heat. Atwood, the sophomore from Beverly, is under the flags. 5:23.00, back in a 32.55. Great swim. And Borsari touches at a 5:32.49, and in third in lane 7, DeRoches 5:34.13. So that is a 16-second drop for Borsari. Sorry, not a 16, a 6-second drop. Get my math squared away. And in lane 3, 5:34, 4-second drop for DeRoches.
Carly Atwood shattering her seed time here at the state championship heat. 3 of 3, the championship heat in the 500-yard freestyle. In lane 2 at the top of the screen, Beatrice Turrentini, the freshman from Concord Carlisle, with a seed time of 5:39.2. Bella Newborn swims in lane 3, the sophomore from LS, with a seed time of 5:26.92. Addison McDonald, lane 4, sophomore from Mansfield, a seed time of 5:29.1. Abby Toepfer, the senior from Cardinal Spellman, with a 5:11.11 seed time, the best in this heat. Megan Kelly, the sophomore from Chicopee Comp, in lane 6 with a 5:14.87. Meredith Yuhasz, the senior from Bishop Fenwick, comes in with a 5:23.00. Same exact time Carly Atwood just finished with. She's in lane 7. Michaela Ellis, the freshman from Westfield, a 5:27.67 seed time. She's in lane 8. And in lane 9, Lindsay Mingala, the senior from Concord Carlisle, a 5:31.64.
And Toepfer, our top seed, she won the 200 by 100th of a second over Jocelyn Housley. But right now, it is, I lost my place in the program. It is Megan Kelly in lane 6 and Abby Toepfer. Kelly touching in 57.38, Toepfer 58.71, and Yuhasz of Fenwick in lane 7. Again, a little shout out to Lindsay Mingola in lane 9. That's a tough double, the 100 fly, 500 freestyle.
Megan Kelly for Chicopee Comp, leading the pack. Right behind her in the adjacent lanes to her, Meredith Yuhasz, the senior from Bishop Fenwick, and Abby Toepfer, the senior from Cardinal Spellman.
And we are coming up on the 200. 2 minutes, .19. That is for Kelly. And 31.61, 31.66 for Toepfer. So they're right now swimming the same pace, even though Kelly has a little bit of a lead. And I think they're going to be pretty consistent here on these splits as well. 31.67 for Kelly. Toepfer a little bit slower, 32.08 and 31.82 that time. That was Yuhasz of Fenwick.
Kelly still leads Toepfer, but she's right on her tail. Behind Toepfer is Yuhasz.
And we are at length number 12, 300, 31.90, 31.91. So we are seeing maybe a little bit of a move by Toepfer. We know she's got speed. She won that 200. It is Kelly, Toepfer, and Yuhasz of Fenwick, the top three, distancing themselves from this field. 31.68, 32.06, 32.26. That is Kelly, Toepfer, and Yuhasz. It is Kelly who posted the fastest split there with 6 lengths to go. It's going to be hard to beat if she keeps up this pace.
Toepfer trying to make a move, but it is Kelly with the pace. Toepfer can just not catch up to right now.
31.95, 32.06, 32.23. So she's maintaining her distance. She's got a 2.5-second lead, 2.4-second lead does Kelly over Toepfer with 100 yards to go. Again, that's a lot to make up. Gets the bell. And 32.01, 31.94, 31.77 down there for Yuhasz. So she is putting on the speed. Again, not going to be enough pool to reel in Kelly, but she might reel in Toepfer. As we get to 12 yards to go, we are now under the flags. And it is Kelly, and it is a sprint for second, and it will be Yuhasz, Toepfer third. So 5:10.39 for Kelly, 5:11.82 for Yuhasz, and 5:12.12 for Toepfer.
Those will round out your top three. It is Megan Kelly, the sophomore from Chicopee Comp, in lane number 6 with a 5:10.39, beating out her seed time of 5:14.87, along with the rest of the pack in heat 3 of 3. Up next is the 500-yard freestyle. It's the marathon. We'll have 3 heats for you, 3 swimmers in our first heat. Jordan Iovino, the freshman from Medfield. She comes in with a seed time of 5:39.69. Riley Kendall, the senior from Wayland, comes in with a seed time of 5:38.97. Kendall will be in lane 5, Iovino in 4. And Gracie Hands comes in with a seed time of 5:39.61. She's a sophomore out of the Brumfield School. She'll be in lane 6, swimming closest to the camera. Get started in just a moment.
Qualifying time was 5:41.41. All 3 swimmers are comfortably under that. The meet record 4:52.08. Samantha Arsenal going all the way back to 1999. The state record 450.79 by Ashley Loomis set in 2018. Top seed Clementine Robins comes in at a 5:05.94.
Early part of these races, Dawn and I have talked about, is always sort of that feeling out process for these swimmers. Kind of who gets the early lead, where do you settle in? It's a long race. We've seen a lot of swimmers in these long 500-yard freestyles have strong finishes where they weren't really leading the pack for the majority of the heat, and then really found their lane at the end, made a big move, turned on the jets down the home stretch, stole away first place from a swimmer that was in it, or in first place for the majority of the race thus far. So we'll see if that happens here, Don.
Yeah, pretty typically you'll see a swimmer settle into a pace that they're going to be pretty consistent in holding. Right now we've got Kendall Riley, 101.97, Gracie Hans, 102.13, both split 32.6, 32.8, Hans and Kendall, and probably start to see them settle into 33 high, 34 low, and they should be consistent with that. But every once in a while, you'll see someone who, slightly off the pace, hanging back a little bit, and then you start to see them build on those split times. Each one starting to get a little bit faster, and that can really make for an exciting race. Although a dead heat can too, and as we said, 34.27 for Hans, 34.28, 34.32 for Iovino, 136.25, 136.24. So again, right now, looking good, looking like a tight race. racing their competitor, but also trying to stick to their game plan.
That's Kendall in the middle, leading by a fingernail over Hans, who's in lane 6 at the bottom.
And again, it is Kendall, 34.76, 34.81, and 2:11.01 to 2:11.21.
About 200 yards through the 500 so far.
So we're approaching the midway point. They've settled into, again, 34 highs here. It is Kendall, 34.73. That 50 was just 4/100ths of a second difference from her prior 50. But Iovino, 34.16, so that was the fastest 50 of the three.
That was the closest I've seen Iovino come, and you can even see now she's starting to move into second place, overtaking Hans. A little bit of that strategy we talked about. She didn't hang back too much, but wasn't competing for that lead of the pack early on. But now we're starting to see Iovino speed it up a little bit more.
3:20.65 for Kendall at the 300. And Iovino, again, the fastest split there, 34.84, just a little bit behind Kendall. So again, they're splitting 35s. Projecting that out, they're going to be right on their seed times right now. And again, oftentimes in the sectional meet, we'll see big moves in the early heat because those athletes are chasing their state times, haven't made the cut, probably shaved for sectional. These swimmers might have shaved last week to get here, and puts a little bit more challenge to getting that best time. That time it was Kendall with the fastest split, 34.65. So just put a little distance between her and Iovino, who had been making a move.
Iovino still in second, Hans falling behind a little bit.
100 yards to go, 4:29.54, 34.24. So now we're seeing Kendall start to up tempo a bit, bringing her splits from the high 34s to the low 34s. She can keep this up. She'll be on pace to beat her time at 5:38 low, 5:37 range. She gets the bell as she crosses under the flags. Touches 34.59.
Last chance for Iovino to make a big push here. But it is Kendall with a sizable lead at the moment in the home stretch.
Yeah, let's see if she can't get home. It'd be nice to end up with a better seed time here. It is going to be close. Oh, she's going to do it. 5:37.52 for Riley Kendall. Jordan Iovino, 5:38.43. And Gracie Hans, 5:43.5. So both Kendall and Iovino just ahead of their seed times. Nice swims. 33.39 for Kendall on that last 50. Iovino, 32.48.
So we'll quickly jump into heat 2 of 3. Miaa Benchivanga, the senior out of Taconic in lane 1. Kiara Devine, the senior from Pittsfield in lane 2. Brindley Callahan, the sophomore from Marblehead in lane 3. Catherine Reed, the sophomore out of Hamilton Wenham in lane 4. Adeline Amon, sophomore from Norwell, swims in lane 5. Mandy Reed, sophomore from Ashland in lane 6. Abby Gallagher, senior from Foxborough High School, swims in lane 7. Ava Gallagher, the sophomore from also Foxborough, swims in lane 8. Rachel Ruminet, the junior from Hanover, back in the pool. She's in lane 9. Kate Kruger, freshman from Weston, swims in lane 10.
And we saw Adeline Amon in the 50 in the final heat. That's a pretty rare double, the 50 and 500. Most of the time you see our 50 swimmers in our 100 freestyle or our 100 butterfly.
We've had a couple swimmers showing off their versatility. We talked about Abreu swimming in a number of different events last weekend at the sectionals and swimming in different ones and conquering them this weekend here at States. And same thing you see down in the pool right now.
Amon touches 59.95, about a second lead over Kira Devine, who's up in lane number 3. She's at 101.0.
Have 10 full lanes in the pool.
32.53. So still Adeline Amon posting the fastest 50 there, widening her lead on the field.
Devine was announced in second, but Abby Gallagher in lane 7 from Foxborough making a move as well. Also, Ben Chuvanga, the senior out of Taconic, in lane 1 all the way at the top of your screen.
All right, it is Devine, 2:05.78. That's 6 seconds faster than our split from the prior heat that led to a 5:37.
Devine in lane 2.
Still holding on, split 33.40. Gallagher in lane 7 had the fastest split at 32.72 for that 50. It is Amon and Gallagher, Abby Gallagher. So again, Gallagher 33.05 to Amon's 33.42. So Gallagher again putting on a little pressure. And up in lane 2, Devine starting to make a move.
Similar to what we were talking about in that last heat, waiting for that time to make the right move.
And we are up at the 300. All right, Gallagher posting a 32.57 there to Amon's 33.25. And in fact, Gallagher took the lead there, 3:12.33 to Amon's 3:12.55. Devine back at 3:16. So right now it's a two-person race. It is Gallagher, that is Abby Gallagher in lane 7, and Adeline Amon in lane 5.
See them leading the pack all the way on the right of your screen right now.
Gallagher 33.11, so she's 106s. Project where she'll be maybe at this next wall where she'll have 100 yards to go. Again, Amon was 33.68 there, so Gallagher picked up a half a second. But Gallagher can't get much distance between her and Amon with 100 yards to go. Again, Gallagher 33.43, Amon 33.50, 3:18.87, 4:19.73. Again, 106s would bring them home at 4:24, 5:24 high, 5:25 high. That would put them both 6-7 seconds above their seed time. So they get the bell. All right, Gallagher takes her split under 33, 32.97. Amon 33.81. So again, they are looking at 5:24, 5:25. Whoa, we got a big move now. Look at that tempo by Amon up there in lane 5.
She might
She's
steal
now
it back.
Gallagher might chase it back. You're right. Wow.
They'll give it to her.
Amon 5:23.75, 5:23.83 to Gallagher. Just 8/100ths of a second. Callahan 5:31.31 up in lane 3 was third. Again, both those swimmers, 8-second drop. And really two nice last 50s. Amon back in 30.21. Gallagher back in 32.00. And Kate Kruger fourth, 5:32.27. She brought her last 50 back in a 30.86.
That's Adeline Amon, the sophomore out of Norwell. Led the pack, had it taken away by Gallagher, but she took it right back in the home stretch. Turned on the turbo speed. She leads the pack in heat number 2. That'll bring up our championship heat. Heat 3 of 3 in lane 1. All the way at the top of your screen will be Lydia Craft. She's out of Seekonk. Kristen Thorn, the junior from Duxbury, swims in lane 2. Nina Mako, the junior from Nauset, in lane 3. Sarah Pescod, the freshman from Norton High School, in lane 4. Clementine Robins, keep your eyes on her in lane 5, the senior out of Marblehead, looking to make up some ground in this race on Amherst-Pelham. Abby Pexey swims below her in lane 6, the senior from Ashland. Amelia Stacy, the senior from Ipswich, in lane 7. Meredith Brown, freshman from Duxbury High School. Keep your eyes on her too in lane 8. And then Finnley Chambers, the freshman from Amherst-Pelham, looking to add some more points to your first place leader at the moment. She's in lane 9. And then closest to the camera in lane 10 is Jenna Whitaker from Triton.
And Colin, we talked about some of those event-changing races. Here we have Duxbury with 2 swimmers seeded in the top 8, Marblehead with the top seed, and Brinley Callahan putting in a competitive swim up from heat 2. She was 3rd, so it would take a lot to happen for her to crack the top 8, but we could see some movement in our team scores after this race. Right now it is Clementine Robins. She's splitting 56.93. Her seed time is 16 seconds ahead of the rest of the field.
Just an insane difference for Robins. 5:05.94 compared to 5:21.03. That's
which again
Pexey.
says those 5:23 swims on the last heat really could do some damage. Robins 127.91, 30.98. Start getting a feel for her swim coming up soon.
We'll see Robins in the next race, most likely, the 200-yard freestyle relay. It won't be until heat 3.
And Robins, of course, picked up the win in the 200, so she's looking to become our second double winner. We saw Lucy Smith just get snatched away by Roback in the 100 free. All right, Robins, sorry, I missed that 200 split, but she's settling into a 30.87 there. So 30-point high look to be those splits for her. 31.18, 229.96 at the halfway point. So she's pretty close to what her seed time will be.
Keep our eyes on it. We'll see if she can beat it.
Again, big lead on the rest of the field. Half a body length. This was similar to last weekend as well. 3:01.15, 31.19. So again, 102s on the hundreds. So she's projecting out to that 5:05 mark.
Pexey from Ashland in second.
We've seen some blistering last 50s though, so she can hold 32s and bring it home faster than that. She will beat her time. I mean, hold 31s, excuse me, 102s. 31.31, so she continues to distance herself from the field. Pexey was second. She was 33.17. 3:42.53 at the 350. And Robins coming in, 100 yards to go. 4:04.05, 31:59. So that 50 is a little bit slower.
The two racers for Duxbury are in a close race to try and finish in the top 4.
Yeah, down in lane 8 and up in lane 2. They're hanging in there. It's a very competitive field for second.
Finnley Chambers from Amherst-Pelham very close behind both Brown and Thorn.
All right, Robins 4:35.61, 31:56 with 50 to go. So can she bring it home? It's going to be very close to her seed time. Nice controlled swim. And no doubt with some relays ahead of her. All right, unofficially 5:06.08, Clementine Robins from Marblehead. She will pick up her second gold medal, and it is anyone's race for second, all the way up in lane 2, 3, and down here in front of us, lane 8. Oh,
so take a look at that. Meredith Brown and Kristen Thorn finished 3rd and 4th. Whitaker from Triton steals the silver. But that's a big heat for Duxbury and Marblehead, who are trailing behind Amherst-Pelham in the team rankings.
Yeah, so